There are moments when a thought appears so suddenly it feels as though it was whispered into your mind by an unseen hand. It might come during a quiet walk, beneath the hum of midnight, or in the stillness between breaths. And for an instant, something deep inside recognizes it as not entirely your own. We tend to believe our minds are private spaces, sealed within the borders of flesh and memory. Yet the truth is far more mysterious. Your thoughts are not confined to you. They are threads woven through the fabric of the universe itself, flickering in and out of awareness like cosmic sparks of intention. Imagine the mind not as a container, but as an instrument, a subtle receiver and transmitter within a boundless field of consciousness. The universe speaks constantly through this field, but its voice is not a voice of sound. It is vibration, frequency, resonance. Thoughts are not generated in isolation. They are waves rising and falling within a greater ocean of awareness. Every time you think, you are translating an aspect of that ocean's energy into personal expression. Every time you feel inspired, moved, or inexplicably guided, the universe is murmuring through you. This realization dissolves the old illusion that thoughts belong to us. The truth is more intimate and humbling. The universe uses your consciousness as its language, shaping meaning through the rhythm of your attention. But here lies the paradox. While the universe speaks through your thoughts, it rarely says what you think it's saying. Its messages are wrapped in metaphor, in the echoes of emotion, in synchronicities that the logical mind struggles to explain. It is not a direct dialogue, but a dance, one that invites you to awaken to deeper perception. When we grasp this, thinking itself transforms. No longer a cage of worry or habit, thought becomes a bridge, a sacred meeting point between the personal and the cosmic. The challenge, however, lies in discernment, for not every thought is the universe's whisper. Many are echoes of conditioning, beliefs programmed through generations, cultures, and fears. These are mechanical, repetitive, and heavy. But occasionally, a thought arises that feels alive, clear, luminous, gentle. It does not argue, it reveals. It does not demand, it invites. That is the voice of the universe moving through your inner space. The process of awakening is not about silencing the mind, but tuning it. Just as a musician learns to hear the difference between noise and harmony, the awakened being learns to sense which thoughts vibrate with the frequency of truth. The stiller your awareness, the more clearly you can perceive this universal current flowing through you. Meditation, reflection, presence, these are not escapes from thinking, but ways of refining the signal. When you align your inner frequency with that of the cosmos, thoughts cease to be random. They become revelations. And so, to understand that the universe speaks through your thoughts is to realize that every moment of awareness is an act of communion. Life ceases to be a monologue of self and becomes a dialogue of existence. The question is not whether the universe is speaking. It always is. The question is whether you are truly listening. At the heart of this mystery lies a profound truth. Consciousness is not individual, but universal. Every mind is a window through which the infinite peers into itself. The illusion of separateness, the belief that your thoughts are yours alone, is the veil that conceals this unity. The deeper you go into awareness, the thinner that veil becomes, until you begin to perceive that thought itself is a shared medium of creation. The universe is an intelligent organism, not in the human sense of cognition, but as a living field of awareness that continuously evolves and communicates through vibration. Everything, from galaxies spiraling in silence to the subatomic dance of particles, exists in a state of dynamic conversation. You are part of that dialogue. Your thoughts are not isolated events, but ripples within the cosmic symphony. They echo across invisible dimensions, influencing and being influenced by the greater whole. To understand this is to grasp that thinking is not purely mental, it is energetic. Each thought has a frequency, a texture, a tone. Fear vibrates differently than love.
Resentment contracts the field, while gratitude expands it. The universe responds not to the content of your thoughts, but to their vibration. When you dwell in love, creativity, or peace, you become a resonant frequency through which higher intelligence can flow. When you dwell in fear, doubt, or anger, that signal becomes distorted. The universe does not punish, it simply mirrors the quality of your resonance. This is why ancient mystics spoke of alignment, not as moral virtue, but as vibrational coherence. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions align with the frequency of truth, you are in harmony with the cosmic current. When they fall into dissonance, you experience confusion, resistance, and pain, not as punishment, but as guidance. The universe uses contrast to communicate. It whispers through your peace and shouts through your discomfort. Another central theme is humility. The willingness to accept that the mind is not the origin of intelligence, but its instrument. The ego, fearful of losing control, insists on authorship. I am the thinker. But consciousness smiles, knowing that thinking is merely the surface of a deeper process. The mind does not generate awareness. Awareness generates the mind. When this reversal is seen, an immense peace arises. You no longer need to control every thought. You simply learn to listen differently, to feel which thoughts carry the fragrance of truth. In this light, even chaos reveals meaning. When random ideas collide in your head, they may be fragments of a larger pattern trying to emerge. When a sudden intuition urges you to act, it may be the universe guiding you through symbolic impulse. The art lies in distinguishing intuition from impulse, resonance from reaction. Intuition is quiet, neutral, luminous. Reaction is loud, charged, and hurried. To sense this difference is to begin decoding the cosmic language. Ultimately, the core message of this idea is that the universe and the self are not two. Every thought, every emotion, and every event is part of the same dialogue of existence. You are both the listener and the voice. The more you surrender the illusion of ownership, the more you feel the seamless unity between inner and outer worlds. This is not mysticism, it is direct perception. It is the realization that thought is not something you have, but something you are within. There is an ancient story told among mystics. Once, in the beginning, all beings spoke the same silent language. It was the language of vibration, pure knowing, untainted by words. But as consciousness fragmented into forms, the silence became speech, and the unity became multiplicity. Each fragment forgot the original tongue, and yet hidden deep within every heart, the memory of that language remained. This forgotten language is what we now call intuition, the pulse of the universe still echoing through our thoughts. In another story, a sage sat by a river for years, asking it to speak. Seasons passed, yet the river said nothing. Then, one day, in stillness, he heard it, not in words, but in rhythm. The flowing water mirrored his own thoughts. When his mind was restless, the river seemed to rage. When his mind was calm, the river shimmered with light. The sage realized the river had been speaking all along. It was he who had not been listening. In that moment, he understood that all of creation is a mirror of thought, and that the universe communicates through reflection, not command. These tales are not mere allegories. They are reminders that reality itself is a living script written by vibration. The universe speaks through patterns, repeating numbers, recurring dreams, familiar faces reappearing across time. Each is a line in the cosmic text, written for the one who can read between the folds of circumstance. Our thoughts are the ink with which we respond, shaping the next line of the story. The dialogue never ends, it only evolves. In myth, the gods rarely speak directly. They send omens, signs, and dreams, subtle reflections that invite interpretation. The same principle applies to consciousness. The higher intelligence that moves through the universe does not dictate, it invites. It uses the raw material of thought and emotion to craft a symbolic conversation. When you dream of flying, it may not be about flight, but about transcendence. When a memory arises repeatedly, it may not be nostalgia, but a message seeking integration. To live symbolically is to live awake, to see meaning woven into everything. When a thought arises that feels luminous, it is a message. When pain repeats, it is an unlearned lesson echoing through the psyche. The universe does not punish or reward, it reflects and reveals. You are both author and reader, message and messenger. To realize this is to step into the ancient mystery that thought and reality are not separate, but co-creative forces of one living consciousness. Bringing this understanding into daily life requires subtle awareness rather than effort. Begin by observing your thoughts as they arise. Instead of labeling them as good or bad, true or false, simply feel their vibration. Ask quietly, does this thought expand me or contract me?